All right, for this video, we are going to talk about choosing weights and a little bit about intensity. So for our example today, we're going to have the goblet squat. Your prescription for this goblet squat is 3 sets of 12 to 15 reps with a 2-minute rest. So when we look at this, I've made a to-do list for us here. So on the to-do list, set 1, set 2, and set 3. That makes sense, right? We have 3 sets to do, so we must do these 3 sets. Now, in addition to these 3 sets, some other things we need to do. We need to accumulate quality reps, we need to build in weight, and we need to do 1 to 2 hard sets per exercise. So I'm going to show you how to get all 3 of these things done here in this goblet squat. All right, so where we're going to start, warm-up sets. All right, the more weight you're using on an exercise, or the larger and more challenging an exercise is. So for instance, if you could goblet squat 100 pounds, you should definitely do a warm-up set or 2, building in weight till you get to these 3 sets, where then maybe you can work in 80 pounds, 90 pounds, 100 pounds, right? So for the goblet squat, we're gonna do 1 to 2 warm-up sets. So let's add a set right here. So our first goblet squat, maybe we just grab an 8-pound kettlebell, and because this is a warm-up set, I wouldn't be too worried about doing 15 whole reps, right? You're trying to feel the weight out. So I would do between 6 and 10 reps. So we'll call it 10 reps here on warm-up set number 1. So you've started with a very light weight. You've done a few reps to see how it feels. So we can, after that, launch into set number 1 if we want to, or we can grab a heavier weight, maybe grab the 12-pound kettlebell and do a second warm-up set of another 10 reps, maybe 12 pounds. Right? And this is warm up 2. So now you've felt some weight on this exercise. So at this point you could either use your 12-pound weight again for set number 1, or you could continue to build in weight. Something to bear in mind when you're building in weight is you don't have to continue to build in weight. We want to build in weight until we can't hit our prescribed reps well. So if 12 to 15 reps is not happening, and we're definitely not going to use that a weight past that, and we might even come off of that weight a little bit. So after a couple warm-up sets, we're going to start to think about the hard sets and the accumulating quality reps. So we're looking at our 3 sets here. What we need to do is another couple sets of some quality reps. Part of this workload is not necessarily the most challenging and intense reps and sets that you've ever done the entire time. What we want to do is accumulate quality reps and then get our 1 to 2 hard sets at the end, right? So maybe you use the same weight for 15 reps here on set number 1 that you used in your warm-up set. You got 15 reps, it felt good. So maybe you go up a little bit heavier. Maybe now we have a 25-pound kettlebell. All right, maybe that starts to feel pretty heavy, around 13 reps, starting to get tough. Set number 2, you've now built in weight again. So when we're getting into set 2 and 3, latter parts of the set, or latter sets of an exercise, is when you need to say to yourself, have I done a hard set yet? Was the last set my hard set? Was it really hard? Did it challenge me? And if it didn't, then you're going to do it again down here. So you can either go up in weight to try and make this last set hard. Maybe you jump up to a 30-pound kettlebell. Maybe you only do something like 10 to 12 reps. You're like, man, that 30-pounder, that was hard. That was it. So at this point, you've done 3 sets, and you've got 1 hard set. If you feel like you have another set that you would be able to do well and make it hard and challenging, then repeat this set again, right? So maybe this is repeated out here because this was pretty hard. Now we want to make sure we get our hard set. So you do that 4th set. You repeat that set of 30-pound kettlebell goblet squats for another 10 reps, and it was tough. So now you've done your hard set here. You've done a hard set here. And what you've also done is accumulate a lot of quality reps through your warm-up sets and your early working sets. So use warm-up sets to your advantage. Remember that one of the goals is to accumulate quality reps. So not every set needs to be intense. But as you go through these sets, you need to be eyeballing 1 to 2 hard sets at the end. And you know a hard set when you do it. You're either not getting your reps because you're failing, because you just can't do it, or you're getting all of the reps and it just is working and it feels very challenging. So for instance, in the goblet squats, your legs are burning like heck and they're talking to you and they're pumped up. Here in these ladder sets, you've done your hard sets. So I hope this helps break it down. When you're looking at a workload of 3 to 4 sets, however many reps, there are the pillars that you can look to accomplish each time, which would be accumulating quality reps. We need to develop the patterns, right? Practice them, become more proficient at them, and then give them a good go at the very end for a hard set or 2 per exercise. So after we've done this with the goblet squat, whatever our next exercise is, we're going to go and take the same methodology to it. You'll find some exercises you'll be able to maybe skim a warm-up set off of, right? Not spend a lot of time doing preparatory sets and rather go ahead and jump into your working sets. So it's a skill, it's something you can practice, and you'll become more familiar with what weights and how challenging they are on various exercises. So what I would tell you to remember, go for good reps for most of your work and go for some hard sets and hard reps there at the end of the work. So I hope this helps.